Hello everyone. I am excited to discuss an essential topic in database administration and high availability solution, that is Oracle Cluster. Quick and reliable data access is essential in today's digital world. Businesses rely greatly on database system to ensure smooth operation. So, failure to get critical information may result in major losses. This is why Oracle Cluster come into the action. Now let's start with what is cluster, a collection of independent yet interconnected machines that function as a single system or a single unit. It typically used for high availability, performance, or to balance a constantly changing workload. A cluster is collection of separate but interconnected machines whose combined resources can be used to processing tasks. The common cluster aspect is that it should seem to an application as a single server. Most cluster architecture required a particular network for communication and coordinating among the cluster nodes. For example, my application like inventory management or 24/7 banking application is running on a single database machine. For the instant, due to some hardware failure, our database machine get down, then application will not work. So for that solution, we create a multiple database servers which have a shared storage. Now we have machine A, machine B, machine C, and machine D of databases. So we can create a cluster like cluster DB, which equals to machine A plus machine B plus machine C and plus machine D. Then application will use the cluster name cluster DB. If any database machine get down, so it will not impact on our application connectivity. It will be work fine. And we can also create the high availability at storage level also by the use of Oracle ASM, which we will discuss in detail in our coming lesson. A common cluster architecture for the data intensive transaction and computation is based on the shared disk storage. Shared nothing cluster imply a unique architecture in which storage is not shared and data must be replicated or segmented across the cluster. Shared nothing clusters are usually used for the workload that can be readily and consistently divided into small parts and distributed throughout the cluster concurrently. Shared disk cluster can handle these tasks and give additional flexibility for varying workload. Load balancing cluster enables a single application to distribute its workload among the cluster. Alternatively, in the failure cluster, some node can be allocated as a primary host for one application, while other work as a primary host for the many application. If we have three database nodes, each database CPU allocated is 10 core and memory allocated is 400 GB. So load balancing distribute connection on the basis of several factors like active connections, CPU usage, memory usage, and response time of each database node. In a failover cluster, the failure of node required application its support to move on a surviving node. Load balancing clusters can provide the failover capabilities, but they can also run as a single application across a multiple node, providing the greater flexibility for the different workload requirements. If we have an application run with a database cluster, if one of our database get down, then application should capable to work on the remaining node. And the load balancer provide a greater flexibility and support different workload requirement for this single application. Now finally let me conclude this Oracle cluster configuration where multiple nodes work together as a single system or a single unit to manage the databases. It improves the performance, reliability, and scalability. If one node fails, other take over, ensuring that database remain available and data is shared across these nodes, providing the faster access and processing. Oracle cluster is commonly used in large organizations for critical application. It involves software like Oracle Real Application Cluster to manage this coordination. This setup required careful planning and configuration. Overall, it makes database system more robust and efficient.